McLean. I'm a member of the Municipal Council in Bethel Park for the 7th Ward, but I'm also a trustee of the Bethel Park Community Foundation. And it is the Bethel Park Community Foundation that sponsors this Tower Concert Series every summer. So we're delighted to do that. I'm glad you are here. Before we begin, just a couple of minutes with our special guests. I just wanted to give you a little bit of information in the way of a reminder about the Community Foundation. We began the Bethel Park Community Foundation in 1994, and the purpose of the foundation is to raise funds through some fundraising that we do, as well as funds from generosity of members of the Bethel Park community. And then we take those funds and we redistribute them for various civic and community projects. And those include the areas of recreation, and facilities, and education, and the arts, including the Tower Concert Series that you're here today for. So we're very delighted that you're able to enjoy one of the offerings that we have. We ask you to do two things. One, we have in the back our treasure chest, where if you are able to make a contribution, that's helpful to us to offset the costs that we incur for programs like this for the Tower Concert Series. The second thing we need you to do, and the most important thing, is to relax and enjoy the program. So we have with us today the new vintage big band under the direction of Fred Perino and Max Canino. So without further ado, I'm going to turn the program over to Max, and sit back, relax, and enjoy. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, the new vintage big band, Fred Perino's, Marty Wassels, and Mike Lyle's new vintage big band. And that was George Gershwin's Strike Up the Band. It came from a 1927 musical. So, this is a big band. You already figured that out. You kind of know what it is. So you can approach this concert in a couple different ways. You can say, I'm going to take a stroll down memory lane, which is fine. Or you can say, I'm going to crawl up an old dusty attic. That's fine too. Not nearly as much fun as taking a stroll down memory lane. Or you could say this. We're going to play some tunes that you're going to know the melody to, but they're different than what you know because of these artists on stage. they're going to be playing improvised solos. So those solos have never been played before, and who knows, they might never be played again. It all depends. It's all, that's what improvisation is. Instantaneous composition. Now, if you really like that, you're allowed to applaud when they're done. Even in the middle of the tune, you just applaud. If you really like it, you can throw money. Now, it's too long of a shot here, so here's what I want you to do. You give the money to me and trust me. You trust me. By the way, I have to tell you again, a gentleman approached me and said, I sure hope you tell a lot of jokes today. So, you just gave me permission. No matter what you said, he gave me permission. So, it's a way to get it. The next number we're going to play, I'm going to try, instead of giving you the title, I'm just going to tell you things about it and see if it kicks in and you remember what it is. 1922, it was done by Fred Fisher, the arrangements Paul Clark. It's been recorded over 78 times from the Penn Glee Club through James Brown and the Jive Bunny and the Mixmasters. In 1957, Sinatra had a big hit because of a movie. The movie was The Joker's Wild. This was charted number 84 on Billboard's Top 100, and it's Chicago. However, it's not going to be a dance to it. This is more of a production number, so you're going to see some changes in tempo, changes in all the style and everything. It features trumpet player George Arner, trombone player Chuck Jazz, alto player Neil Barney, and tenor Tony McKenney in Chicago. This next number was written for a 1937 musical called Babes in Arms. It was recorded by over 600 artists throughout the years. In 2015, this number was designated by the Library of Congress National Recording Registry of Songs because of its cultural, artistic, and or historical significance to American society and the nation's audio legacy. Our version comes from the Stan Kenton Band on their Kenton 76 album, and it features the trombone section, Chuck Jack, Mark Sanders, Scott Boyer, and Mike Rao, and it's entitled My Funny Valentine. trombone's credit, I forgot to tell you George Arnold was going to play a solo. You already figured that out, and I heard he was, so he did a terrific job. 1943, we're bouncing all over the place, but I'm sure that you see we're going to play all kinds of different styles, so some charts that you already know. 1943, this was written by and performed by the King Cole Trio. That's Nat King Cole on the piano. The single was the trio's most popular single. It reached #1 on the Harlem Hit Parade, #9 on the pop charts, and it also reached #1 in the most played, get this, the most played jukebox hillbilly records. Hey, I didn't name it, I'm just telling you what I read. Google never lies. This, as soon as you hear it, and quite frankly, you've heard this before, but I honestly didn't know the story behind it, so I decided to do a little bit of digging. The song was based on a black folk tale that Nat King Cole's father had used as a theme for one of his sermons. In the tale, this buzzard takes different animals on a joyride, and when the buzzard gets hungry, he flips the animal off his back, the animal crashes to the earth, and the buzzard goes out and eats it. Well, a monkey was watching all this. So when the buzzard said, "Hey, how about you take a ride?" Well, I'll tell you what. Charlie and I Catch is going to tell you the rest of the story in, straighten up, and fly right. If you were around in New York City, 1936, I realize you're way too young before that, but just your grandparents told you that. 596 Lenox Avenue in New York City, the Harlem section. A 10,000 square foot dance floor with a bandstand at each side. Chick Webb and his house band, they were the kings, and they took on all comers. It might have been Basie, Ellington, Goodman, didn't matter. Chick Webb and his band took them on. Well, in 1936, Chick Webb and Benny Goodman got together and they decided, hey, let's write a tune for this. Anybody know the dance hall? Oh yeah, go to the front of the class, the Savoy Ballroom, that's it exactly. And this features bass player Rick Lang and tenor sax on another tune, Tony McKenny, and stomping at the Savoy. Richard Mitt Roberts. So, yeah. We're going to move it up a couple decades. Born in 1976, and I know a lot of you remember that year because I remember that year. I think I remember that year. 1976, this came from a Stevie Wonder album. The album was entitled Songs in the Key of Life. It's really funny with this particular number. He did not let Motown release it as a 45. Just absolutely refused. I mean, it went on the air, you obviously heard it, but he would not allow that 45 because he wanted it to be complete. Because at the very beginning, it opens with the sound of a baby crying. And in the end, in the outro, at the very end, it has his daughter, Aisha, who was born, just kind of doing baby battle. So it's just a terrific piece of music, and it features George Arner on trumpet and guitarist Mark Shuttleworth, and in Isn't She Lovely? The baby grabbed the music and threw it on the floor. Things happen. Next, I wrote Arrived in America in about 1960 by Antonio Ricardo Jobim. It came along with the other things that, the Latin American musical invasion, like Earl from Ipanema and Wave and Desperado, and it even spawned things like playing on the bossa nova. We're not going to blame that on anybody, just happened. It's kind of like a Brazilian samba and American West Coast jazz. I'm going to butcher it, but it's Medidaço. It is the Portuguese, and what it means is meditation. And it features Mr. John Christian on trumpet. Well, wait to see how this one came about. 1965, Heinz Meyer and Hans Baratki wrote a song, and it was called Der Sommerlied. The song was heard by Johnny Mercer when it was done by a Danish singer. And you got it so far? It's from Germany, we have a Danish singer, and we're working to the United States. So Mercer wrote lyrics kind of different, but they were on the same kind of theme. because it talks of, it's not as evident as you might think, but it talks of the metaphor of changing of the seasons, the passing of time, but it just never really hit tune. It was brought to America and first recorded by Wayne Newton in 1965, and even named the album Summer Wind. Well, it was only a mild success. It was also recorded by Bobby Vinton and Perry Como. You know that. Minor successes. Of course, I had to pull cannons over there, and I had to get Tony O'Kelley and Norman Rose, because they're certainly familiar with Vinton and Como. And then, let's see, a guy from Hoboken, New Jersey, who had blue eyes recorded it. Oh yeah, that's right. Strangers in the Night, Frank Sinatra, and it features our vocalist Charmaine Gibb and on tenor sax Tony O'Kelley in The Summer Wind. And listen to the metaphors. Picked up all the symbolism in that? There'll be a test afterwards to make it right. 1952. We're going to go back to Nat King Cole again. It's first done by him. It was written by Brand and Haynes. His arrangement was Dave Barton and scored by our own John Christian. Bobby Darin did the same chart, only he got a wider audience. It wasn't an initial hit, but it became almost like an immediate standard. It was recorded by both pop and jazz artists. Now, unlike most arrangements of this song, that are done as a ballad. This one is like a hard-driving swing version and features the saxophone section with Noel Barney, Tony Lucchetti, Jay Cristiano, Norm Gross, and you'll... Minutes, that's how you pronounce it, like a banana. Yeah. It's entitled, That's All. Nice job, saxophones, huh? Going back to 1922. This was originally recorded as a 3/4 ballad. And some would say it was, well, you might describe it as a little bit on the sappy side. But you gotta forgive it. This was recorded by hundreds of artists, and our arrangement, though, is in a style of jazz waltz. So the arrangement, it was written by Buddy as the tune, and it was written by Walter Donaldson, Gus Kahn, but we have Dave Volpe's arrangement. And it features our trombone section, Mark, Chuck Scott, and Mike Yin, and my buddy. That one was 1922. Let's move to 1928. We're getting closer to the Depression. So don't be depressed. We're going to keep it. There was some controversy about this song because some say it was sold to the arrangers by Fats Waller. Others say this song was originally done by Richard Rogers. The tune is "I Can't Give You Anything But Love." Jimmy Hughes and Dorothy Fields wrote it. Our arrangement was by Mark Davis. Nevertheless, this song was introduced in 1928. It was called the Blackbird Review, and it was an instant hit. Everybody loved it. It is in the 100 most recorded songs from 1890 to 1954. I Can't Get You Up, it's somewhere about 24. Now, it's recorded also, and this was the best duet. This was also recorded by Mickey and Minnie Mouse in the Disney cartoon called Birthday Party. Now, we don't have Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse, but we have Charmaine and we have Tony. So here we go. I Can't Give You Anything But Love. swing into his. Let's move to 1971. Here we go. Composition was written by one of Motown's biggest stars, Marvin Gaye. And it's a meditation, actually, on the troubles and problems of the world. It's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame's 500 songs that shaped rock and roll. Our version features no burning about the sex. Anybody take a wild guess at this? Okay. What's going on? I was just thinking when I was drafted, they would play that a lot. And you know what? I agree completely. What's going on? Next song goes back to 1947. Really great year. Let's say is maybe not to my parents, but it was to me. It came from a musical written by Erwin Lowe. The musical was called Brigadoon. Just a terrific Broadway number. And it's entitled Almost Like Being in Love. There were actually 3 hit versions in the same time, 1947. But Frank Sinatra is probably the most popular one. Nat King Cole recorded several versions of this himself. And it was also used, if you can remember, let's see, Groundhog Day, starring Bill Murray. The closing credits was Nat King Cole's version of Almost Like Being in Love. And it features, let's see, Tony on tenor, and George on trumpet, and Chuck on trombone, and Chuck Lesko on drums, and Almost Like Being in Love. It's just a terrific number. It was written by Billy Rose and Harold Arlen, and also a guy named Yip Garber. Honest, that was his name. He was a terrific composer. He wrote all the pop tunes, worked with Irving Berlin, etc. But anyway, Art Rich was by Jerry Nowak, and it's a 1933 Depression-era song from a musical called The Great Magoo. And they also used it in a movie called Take a Chance. And later on, Tatum O'Neal and her father, Ryan O'Neal, used it as the title song for one of their movies. And it's Only a Paper Moon. Charlie? So the story goes, Duke Ellington's visiting Pittsburgh in the mid-1930s. And the guys in Pittsburgh say, you gotta hear this piano player. He's terrific. He's a graduate of Westinghouse High School, and he's a pretty young guy, but boy, he has terrific ideas. So Ellington said, okay, I'll listen to him. As soon as he listened to him, guy goes straight away. Ellington said, perhaps we can do some business. So Ellington said to Straightaway, whenever you get to New York, come and visit my apartment and we'll talk over some things. So Billy Strayhorn goes to New York, and he calls up Duke Ellington, who lived in the Sugar Hill section of Harlem. And he said, okay, I'm here in New York. How do I get to your apartment? And Duke Ellington said, take the A train. And by the time he got to the apartment, he kind of had the idea of the two notes. Here we go, take the A train. Before we play our last number, I'd like to thank you very much for inviting us back to play a wonderful audience, a rather large audience, too. So that's always good. Our last number was inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame in 1933, and it's probably one of the most recognized popular instrumentals of the 20th century. I'll tell you the background story. So originally, the riff, the asymmetrical riff that you'll hear, you'll know it. I might, it talks gibberish, but trust me, it's an asymmetrical riff. It was originally done by Winnie Minone, and it was called the Tar Paper Stomp. Now, it died a good death. Then Fletcher Henderson took it over, and he used that same riff, only he called the tune Hot and Anxious. Then Glenn Miller took it over, and he used the same riff, and Joe Barton took it over, and they called it In the Mood. You get it, Hot and Anxious in the Days. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful summer. Hopefully we'll see you soon. Thanks a lot.